research in a number of areas, particularly urban regeneration, looking at changes and policies around the Olympics and around the way that the East End of London is changing. But I also do work on consumption, on branding and on advertising. And I think that range of interests is something that has been really quite stimulated by working with external clients. It's quite difficult, as many academics know, to get research council funding for empirical projects where you collect a lot of data, and where there are resource implications for conducting research. And I and colleagues who've worked on knowledge exchange projects, I think have benefited quite a lot from the opportunity to continue to be able to do detailed empirical work while working for a government department or a local business, or a local or even a kind of larger multinational company, because what we get to do is the kind of research that we would do in any case as academics, but apply and reapply that research and those ideas in a way that is helpful, useful, interesting perhaps for the client, but also which is engaging and developmental for us as academics. I do think it's important for academics to engage with the real world and real objects and real people, and to do that using the methods that their discipline has taught them. Now, if that's in the service of a knowledge exchange project, then I don't necessarily see that that's an obstacle or a problem to doing something that is really useful, also academically interesting, and perhaps developmental for the academics concerned, but also for the work that they might be doing more broadly. I mean, just as a for instance, quite a number of the projects that I've been involved with that have been based on consultancy organised through Knowledge Stock have provided either an introduction or a major basis for work that subsequently has been published in books, in articles, in journals, and in other academic outlets. So I do think that there is, if you're alert to it, a real opportunity for a creative exchange between formal consultancy projects and the academic work that certainly researchers in this school are very committed to doing. I also think that we live in a changing kind of business environment. I think a lot of the certainties and a lot of the assumptions which underpinned ideas about communication, ideas about urban development, ideas about what really counts and what really matters in society have been disturbed a little bit by economic downturns and by the kind of crisis in that culture which has emerged around the credit crunch and all of those kinds of things. So I think there is a sense that in some sectors of the business community and in some sectors of policy making, there is a genuine seeking after new opportunities, new ideas and new answers. And academics, it seems to me, because we tend to think about and analyse and develop methods for exploring difficult and sometimes quite strange questions, actually there is an opportunity for kind of partnership and engagement. It's not always easy. It's not always easy from a kind of resource point of view. It's also not always easy from the point of view of clients understanding academics and academics understanding clients. But I do think that with the right framework for engagement and with a degree of kind of open-mindedness in both directions, both from clients and from the academics, that projects can go very well and can produce the kinds of interesting, engaging and engaged research outputs that are valuable to both academic work and to consultancy client. Certainly in terms of clients that we've worked with here, we did some very interesting work with Motorola around mobile phones, and that produced genuine insights and new conjunctions in thinking about changes in mobile technologies. We did some work about cars and driving with a major international car brand, and again that was very kind of interesting work and enlightening, I think, both for the client and for the researchers involved. So I think in those partnerships there is a genuine opportunity for consultancy projects leading to academic outputs, and that's why I'm keen to continue to engage with knowledge exchange as one important route to ensure that the research that I'm doing stays current, and to ensure that the research that I'm doing keeps me connected with a rapidly changing world. Clients have been pleased with the work that we've done, and they continue to come back to us for updates and further partnerships and collaborations, and I think having a client return to ask you again to work with them is probably the most satisfying kind of sign that you've done a good job in the first place. Students also, when they hear you in the classroom or in a tutorial or a seminar talking at first hand about what goes on live in a particular industry setting, it does tend to make them listen a bit more carefully, because very often students hope to be able to see themselves in the future as working in those environments, and I think they do see a kind of important legitimation for their courses and for their learning experience if they know that part of the contribution comes from academics who know their subject, who know their disciplines, and who know the methods that are used in their subject and their discipline, but who have also tested and explored and expanded that expertise in real-world projects, perhaps with clients that they've heard of. So if a student hears that you've worked with a famous client or a famous brand that they use or that they like or that they think is trendy and fashionable, then probably it makes them listen a bit harder to the concept or to the idea that you're trying to explain to them.